Hey guys, welcome back. Today we've got a special guest that's going to join us, Mr. Jordan Brothers from Nextorch. And as the video says, this video is on Nextorch. It's and their line of EDC lights and weapon lights and personal lights that they've got. We're carrying them there at the outpost now. And I was fortunate enough to talk Jordan into coming out and spending a little time with us and run us through some of these things. They're going to demonstrate a couple here inside the bunker where it's nice and dark, the TA30C and the P82. This one is the T20, or the TA20, sorry. That's my favorite so far. It's nice and small, it's easy to keep in hand, but then we're going to talk about this ring and what the ring does. We'll let Jordan fill us in on all of that in a few minutes, so stick around and we're going to talk about Nextorch. Hey guys, today we're out in the field with Jordan from Nextorch. We're starting to carry their products in the store. We've got some of their weapons lights, some of their headlamps, some of their other lights. These things are really, really bright. I love these. Jordan's going to tell us about, what he's got here as far as weapon sights, weapons lights, and some of the torches. They got some really cool stuff. I'm gonna step out of the way and let him tell you about it.
Absolutely. So got a couple pretty cool new products that we'll start with here. So this is one of my personal favorites, actually what I EDC. It's called the TA20. So what I like about this is you actually have 3 different modes. So this will feature a locking mode, so there's no way to actually activate it in a pocket.
That's the one I've been carrying too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's like I said, if I had to pick one light to carry with me every single day, I mean, 1,000 lumens in this size package.
I loved what it did. It lit up the entire area of the block I live on last night up on Signal Mountains.
You can't beat it.
Yeah.
So in addition to your lock, you've got duty mode, which is going to be your traditional click on, click off, and then a half press will allow you to toggle through your brightnesses. And then tack, which this features are what we call one-step strobe technology, where a half press will give you high, full press for strobe, and that allows you to access both of those without ever coming off that home button. There's no second button to hunt for, there's no double click.
I love that, like not having to look for another switch to do something.
Exactly. From a muscle memory standpoint in a high stress situation,
exactly,
you're not going to accidentally move yourself into the wrong mode or accidentally turn your light off in the moment you need it most. So one other thing that this light does bring to the table is dual fuel compatibility. So it's going to come with our direct recharge, just USB batteries, but it will also run CR123A disposables. Obviously you don't get quite the same output that you do with the rechargeables, but it is nice to just have that little extra versatility. So that's the TA20. The big brother to that in the TA series is the TA30C. So both the TA20 and the TA30C are compatible with the FR1 finger ring. So what that does,
I like that.
Exactly, gives you additional security when you're using it. Also doubles as a pocket clip. And what the TA30 does is you have a patented user interface here with a rotating dial to go between your modes, and then any of those can be overridden with our tail cap one-step strobe technology. So whether it's off or it's in low, you can with one move bump it to high or strobe, all without ever coming off that home position. So this is going to come with a again direct recharge 18650 battery, or this will run 2 CR123s in parallel. So it is also dual fuel compatible. So I know I touched on that finger ring, but just to circle back on that, we actually designed this actually for law enforcement use, but we see a ton of use of them on the civilian side as well. What we designed it for is it allows you to flip the light out of the way, in their case to cuff someone. In a firearm situation, it allows you to have full palm to reload without losing control of your light. Just gives you a lot of extra control, a lot more versatility. Also gives you additional grip options. You can use the light here, which gives you obviously an extra couple of inches of vertical height. You can also use it kind of a baton style out here, where you can push it out the front, and again, just gives you far better retention, no chance of accidentally losing control of your light.
Especially considering, statistically speaking, when you're out active in life, whether it's just climbing or hiking, or as you said, law enforcement, hands are statistically the #1 injury, because that's what we use.
Correct.
So that ring, if you hurt your hand, you don't just automatically drop your light. It stays connected to you.
And if, somehow, God forbid, you do drop your light, that's all going to stop. It's not going to roll away from you on a hill.
Exactly.
Our bezels are crenellated both on the front, and you do have texturing here as an anti-roll measure, but that is obviously going to be far more effective, especially on a steeper slope.
Absolutely.
So again, that's the TA30C, and then its big brother is the TA30C Max.
It's Wednesday. That's the sirens for the nuclear.
Test.
Yes.
Yep.
You'll be right to go in a minute.
Yeah, hopefully that's just a test of the nuclear system. And
with it being Wednesday, I relaxed. I was like, wait, what day is this? Yeah, it's the first Wednesday of the month. So
we need to head to one of the bunkers.
Yeah, that's what I say. Hey, we got bunkers all around us. So. But yeah, it's the first Wednesday of the month, so it's just a test.
Nothing to see here. So the TA20 that we touched on first is 1,000 lumens in high. The TA30C bumps that output to 1,600 lumens. Now the TA30C Max goes to 3,000 lumens in a handheld.
Wow.
So that also increases your candela to a little over 35,000. So really high candela, has a really, it creates a really nice blend of a good hotspot to push through any photonic barriers, or if you're using it in mixed lighting situations.
Is that the one I was looking through the glass into the back rooms at the shop? Okay.
Yep, and that one we'll touch on. The one that's even higher candela is the P82, which we'll get to here in a second. What's nice about the TA30C Max is, in addition to having a really nice concentrated hotspot, it's a little hard to see out here in full daylight, but you have a really good corona as well. So you do illuminate an entire interior space as well, as opposed to something that's super high candela, that's great for reaching out and touching something, but has limited application in an interior situation. So the actual user interface on the TA30C Max is very, very similar to the TA30C that we just touched on. Again, you have your rotating dial with that tail cap override. Now this is going to come with a larger battery, so it's not dual fuel. This has to run on our rechargeables. You just don't get 3,000 lumens worth of output without going to a
bigger battery.
Exactly. You have to have a little more juice.
It's kind of like having an AGM when you got a lot of AGM battery in your vehicle when you're pulling all those different loads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. You just got to have a little bit more oomph. And this one does also, because it is a larger diameter body, steps up to our FR2 finger ring. Identical otherwise, just designed to fit around a larger body.
Yeah, I was showing this to a friend of mine last night, where she could, the small one like I carry, the same one he was talking about earlier, where she could carry this when she's running, and if anything happens, that's because she's a piano player, so she's always worried about if she's going to hurt her fingers or whatever. And I was like, instinctively, you got 3 ways to strike with this thing.
It's just, again, it's versatility. That's the name
so.
of the game with what we do. And you'll see that across the board, that we try to not lock you into anything proprietary or anything that requires you to work within our ecosystem. We try to make anything we do as adaptable to your end use case as we can.
Yeah, I like the batteries. I was checking it out last night. I like the charging indicators, the red and the blue, to let you know.
Yep. Oh, so I didn't even touch on that. So your TA30C and TA30C Max are also going to feature, let's see if we can see this here, battery indicators. So when you turn the light off, it's a little hard to see in full light. But you have a light up ring here, and what that's going to do is it will illuminate solid blue if the light is at least 75% charged. It'll be a flashing blue if it's between 50 and 75.
Let me see while it's flashing.
That one will be flashing blue, I believe.
Yeah.
And then it'll go solid red for 25 to 50, and then flashing red if it's below 50% charged.
See if I can get it up here and make it do it.
So that'll illuminate when you turn the light off.
Yep, there you go. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, I like the way the batteries have their own indicator lights too. I was charging them last night and it charged both of them.
Yep. So there's a little indicator in those direct charge batteries on the battery itself that will illuminate blue when it's fully charged, and it'll illuminate red when it's on the charger. So it'll just let you know, hey, this is fully juiced. I'm good to pop it off the charger. So that takes us to, so that's the end of the TA series of the tactical handhelds. Brings us to our P82. So this is going to be what we term our thrower. So
Throw some light.
Designed to reach out and touch something. So this has a candela of about 105,000, max beam distance of about 1,100 meters. So, you're talking, reaching out to something that's over a quarter mile away is not a problem.
Great search and rescue light.
Exactly. Search and rescue, long distance ID kind of stuff, does a really phenomenal job. You can see the difference as far as how tight that beam is.
And the sun is shining on this side of the van.
Yeah,
just to throw that out there.
It's noon.
Yeah.
And you can still see the amount of power this puts out. You got a 2-button user interface here, where that's going to be your constant on, and then the small button is your strobe. So one difference with the P series as opposed to the TA series is this has on the body charging. So the head just unscrews and it's standard USB-C. So that will charge off of any USB-C charger. So if you need to charge it in your car, at home, just again gives you a little bit better versatility. And one other thing that all of those have, as well as this P82, is I had mentioned the crenellated bezel on the front, but these also feature embedded nano-ceramic glass breakers. So just as a rescue tool, as a self-defense tool, a really nice little addition there, especially for the TA lights that you might be using for everyday carry. All right, so that wraps up the handhelds. Next, we're going to touch on some weapon lights. So the first one we have here is our WL14. So this is designed around a compact footprint. As you can see here, we've got this mounted to a Glock 19, but it will obviously fit a substantially smaller firearm as well. You've got ambidextrous push buttons on either side, depending on whether you're left or right-handed, and whether you prefer to activate it with your trigger finger or with your support hand. Either modality will work beautifully for that. 500 lumens in high. And then this does also have the option, if you hit both buttons at the same time, you will toggle it into low or back into high. And then it has memory, so it will remember the last mode you set it in. So when you go to turn it on the next time, it will go ahead and activate in.
So if you want to go low light to begin with, it'll start there.
Yep, especially if you're using it in like a home defense
right. When you're in a dark area, the low light is better for your night vision than the high lumens.
Now, personally, I like to run a higher light even for home defense, but I don't have a lot of reflective surfaces in my house. So,
and that can be all the difference. If you got mirrors on your walls, hitting yourself with that high light.
Exactly. You're probably going to do more damage than good.
Yeah.
But again, kind of going back to what I said before, it just gives you the option, you the end user, the option to customize exactly how that is going to function.
Yeah, I love that function.
So this is going to be a polymer body, so very, very lightweight. And it's a direct USB-C recharge underneath right there. The nice thing with that polymer body is it doesn't throw off the balance of a compact.
Very, very light.
A bigger, heavier weapon light will. That being said, when you step up to our duty grade lights, like the WL11 that you see here, we do step up to an aircraft grade aluminum body. Is a little bit heavier. Obviously, it's designed around a larger firearm. This is, again, once again, you can see it on a Glock 19, which it will fit, but it will also fit something with a longer slide as well. So where the WL14 was putting out 500 lumens, the WL11 bumps that up to 650. And instead of a built-in charge, this has our direct recharge batteries, and this, again, is dual fuel, just like the TA20 and TA30C, in that it will also take a CR123A. Again, just gives you that little bit better versatility. So as far as the user interface goes on these lights, what you're going to see is a rocker switch here. So the idea being one direction will give you
I love the
momentary
rocker
on.
switch better than the button.
I do too.
Yeah.
And the other direction will give you constant on. From a usability standpoint, I'm a huge fan of that rocker switch. We don't use it on our compact lights just due to real estate.
Right.
There's just not enough space packed into that small area. But when you step up to the full size, it gives us a little bit more room to work with.
Yeah, to me it gives you the best of both worlds. You don't have that funky grip switch to do it,
Exactly.
but you also don't have to reach up with your other hand and hit a button.
You can still easily reach it.
Right.
Whether you're using support hand or trigger, it does gives you both options. The other thing I personally really like about our rocker switch is it always returns to neutral. So as opposed to going into constant on, for instance, and locking in one direction, it's always going to return to your home position here. So from a muscle memory standpoint, that switch is always going to return to the exact same spot. And that is going to be true of the WL11.
And that's critical with muscle memory. Yeah.
Exactly. So the WL11 that you see here, and then also the WL21, which is essentially the exact same upper module, but with the addition of a laser. So this all functions exactly the same as on the WL11, but you do have the addition of either a red or a green laser. And again, that's just ambidextrous.
You can touch it with the grip finger. You don't have to reach up if you don't. If you've got your left hand occupied holding something out of the way,
you can still reach up
and get it. I love that.
Yep. Or if you're like me and are a lefty, us weird ones.
Yeah. Hey, us left-handed people are the only ones in our right mind. So
there you go.
When I say I've switched my knives to, I don't say left-handed. I say I switched them to right-minded.
You got it. I'm trying. Oh, so there is one other thing we have that I want to show you on those weapon lights. So when you're mounting these up, you'll see here. So we actually have a patent on the way these work. So this is going to, you'll hear it snap into place. So there's actually a built-in detent in here where that will allow you to lock it onto the rail, and it will hold while you screw it in.
Nice.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a way to increase the usability a little bit. Doesn't require the third set of hands to try and mount it up.
I like that.
Yeah, not a huge difference maker, but it is one of those little things that just from a usability standpoint just makes things a little bit easier, a little bit simpler.
Now I'll talk about this one more later in one of my own videos, but you know more about it than I do, so can you?
I'll show and tell it with mine.
There you go.
So one of my personal favorite little lights does come with a clip. It's called the K40. So it's USB-C direct recharge. That tiny little platform, 300 lumens, and you got a low and a medium as well. Also features a 700 lumen strobe. And then if you hold the strobe button down, so that's the front button here is your constant on modes, the second one is your strobe. And if you hold the strobe button down, you've also got UV, you've got red, and you've got signal mode as well, just to give you a little extra safety functionality there. This light will also double as a hat clip light.
Yes.
So if, for instance, you're like me and if I'm not working, I'm in a ball cap pretty much every day on the weekends. Wearing a headlamp when you've got a hat on is a total pain.
Yes.
This way, you don't have to worry about that.
And I like this clip a lot better than the other one I had that was a two-part clip instead of just being turned around like this one. And it springs. I won't out the company, but you know what I'm talking about.
It's a better mousetrap.
It is a better mousetrap. Yep. I like the way, I was checking that out last night. I don't wear hats except for when I'm wearing a boonie cap.
Yep.
When I'm out on rainy days sometimes, but it does work really well.
Yeah, it's just a killer little light, and similar to knives, the same thing we've always said is the best light is the one you have with you.
And this one stays around my neck since I bought it. I love this little light. But that's what I'm still studying. I know everything it does, but I don't know how to describe it yet. As accurately as you do.
Oh, so. Absolutely. Well, like our TA30C Max, that's an incredible light.
Yeah.
But for me and the way I carry, like, that's too big for me. Like, it's not something I'm probably going to carry day in, day out. Always have one on me at all times.
Yeah.
So knowing that I've always got one clipped to, you know, every one of my key rings,
Yep.
stuff like that, you know, there's no reason to ever not be caught without it.
And when I'm out doing journalism work, this one stays around my neck because half the time I want to appear like I have nothing. So the only thing I have is a very tough ink pen, and I'll have a knife and a flashlight clip on my t-shirt. So I've got
No reason to ever
things.
not have it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You never go back to using a cell phone flashlight.
No, I hate doing that anyway because it just uses up, when you're out in the field, that just makes your phone battery go down quicker.
Exactly.
And you know, you can't really call for help with a flashlight, but you can.
Not nearly as effective.
Right, you know. So it's like I try to save the phone battery and use the flashlight.
You know, save the phone for what the phone was made to do. And
Exactly.
save the flashlight for what it was made
especially
for.
with me when I'm filming with it or researching with it, or hey, what's that? I want to look that up. You know.
Exactly.
So if I use it for a flashlight, I mess myself up.
No doubt.
All right.
Awesome. Well, I think that's the greatest hits there.
All right.
Appreciate you having us on.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, it was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. And as you can see, this has been around my neck since 5 minutes after I bought it. So I love this light. It's a great little piece of equipment that I think is going to be great for my lifestyle. But I'm also carrying, where I put it without dropping everything. I got the,
Mic down.
yeah, that's the problem, is the mics. But yeah, this one goes everywhere I go too.
Yep,
I
and there's
love
an
it.
example of that TA20 that I was showing you guys with the finger ring.
With the finger ring.
Yep, so that same finger ring does fit the TA20 or its larger sibling, the TA30C.
Well, Jordan, appreciate you taking some time out.
Absolutely, thanks for
and
having
hanging
us.
out with us. I know you've got to get to another appointment up in Cleveland, so you want to give you time for lunch for that. So.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. And you know, we hope you stop by the outpost and check out these lights for yourself. Check out the weapon lights and check out the torches. They really nice stuff. And you know, as Jordan said, these they bring a lot to the table. And I think if you'll come in and check them out, you'll see that you'll be really well pleased with the quality of the product and the price range that it's in and all of that. So stop in and see what we got going on with this. Tune in next time for the next video and see what I'm getting into then. We'll see what we're up to. And till then, you guys be safe out there and be blessed.